Hi, this is Razia Ghani Khan, Data Science and Business Analytics Intern at the Sparks Foundation, presenting the spread of COVID 19 cases across continents to find out interesting patterns on COVID 19 data collected by Johns Hopkins University. Novel coronavirus, as a global pandemic, is majorly a health crisis, caused nearly 4.37 million deaths all over the world. This health crisis led us to think that what allows a virus to dysfunction several systems of human body that enable it to exist on Earth. In this video, we will be interacted with some interesting patterns identified through a timeline analysis on COVID-19 data using Tableau. So let's get started. On first dashboard, we can see the impact of first and second wave of novel coronavirus. In this dashboard, we have two pans, upper pan displaying the total deaths recorded and lower pan displaying total deaths per million. As it's palpable to identify that Africa, followed by Oceania, recorded lowest total deaths in year 2020 and 2021 so far. However, Asian, American, and European continents respectively recorded higher total deaths. In the lower pan, deaths per million also displays the same pattern. Here again, Oceania, followed by Africa, witnessed lowest death per million since 2020. Now, this might encourage us to partially conclude that high level of health infrastructure and super specialty health hospitality services is unable to counteract the effect of novel coronavirus. But the reality is, several causes run behind making things happen. However, geography helped Australia keeping the vulnerability of COVID-19 cases at very low level. It is easier to keep a virus at bay on a remote island than in a country with long land borders. But that doesn't apply on Africa. So let's move ahead to the second dashboard to shed more light on the process. Second dashboard plot a cluster of smokers across continents. We can see the world map shows dense around the European region and also the larger size of bubble displaying the prevalence of smoking in this region. In addition, the ratio of male to female smokers in American continents is larger than that of in Africa continent. Apart from that, data point shows prevalence of smoking in some part of Asia is also lower than its other counterpart. However, Oceania countries also having slightly higher number of smokers, but its geographic location appeared to help a lot in constituting low positive rate and thus leading to lowest death due to COVID. Now we are moving to third story point. In this dashboard, we do a comparative study of correlations among different measures. On the left of our screen, we can see death timeline by coronavirus since March 2020. And on the right of the screen, we can see ratio of male smokers to the total death recorded, and left to it, we can see ratio of female smokers to the total death recorded. On the center of the screen, we can see a timeline by hand washing activity, and right to it, we can see incidence by extreme poverty versus life expectancy. And finally, on the lower right on the screen, we can see a tree map by stringency measures across countries. So let's hover over the data. During the outbreak of COVID-19 on March 2020, Africa continent recorded lower number of total deaths and per million death, while having involvement of female smokers between 0.2 to 3.3 in total deaths recorded, and involvement of male smokers from 7.7 to 65.8 in total 300 deaths recorded. But we cannot say that there is any correlation in lower number of smokers and lower number of deaths due to COVID. But there may be a correlation, but that does not necessarily mean causation. But we still hold the ground that the African countries are among those countries who are having low smoking practices. Now, we must appreciate the higher number of hand washing practices in Africa that might be a region in witnessing lower death due to COVID. But there is a very interesting factor, extreme poverty, which may be a determining factor in age lower deaths. As we can see, most of the African countries surviving under highest extreme poverty, while having life expectancy lower than 10k, and that may be a contributing factor in preventing COVID-19. And apart from this, higher stringency measure in most of the African countries might help in lower deaths recorded. Now, let's look at the story of Asia. From the outbreak of virus to December 2020, total deaths recorded reached around 9 million, and the contribution of smokers in total death is also not so high, but it is higher than Africa continent. And the practice of hand washing with high stringency measure in very few countries and little lower extreme poverty rate than Africa, corresponding in higher deaths in Asia. Now let's go to European countries. As seen earlier in the video, Europe witnessed highest number of smokers, both male and female, and we can see here the contribution of smokers has been rising increasingly, both male and female smokers. So we can say that there is a high rise, there is a high risk. So we can say that there is a high risk of severe COVID-19 disease, and that's among smokers. Apart from that, hand washing activity was also very low in entire Europe. Since 2020, it was not yet crossed the threshold of even 1k, as well as having very low rate of extreme poverty and high life expectancy with low stringency measures in most of the European countries mainly seemed a cause of higher number of deaths recorded, even highest number of deaths recorded. And slightly same patterns can be found in North America continent and South American continent. Increasing number of smokers, low to medium hand washing activities, high life expectancy, very low extreme poverty, and high stringency measures implemented only in few countries, signaling that these were the causes of higher deaths recorded in these countries. Finally, come to Oceania. Oceania continent recorded the lowest death due to COVID-19, mainly due to its geographic location. However, it also followed low hand washing practices and stringency measures. Smoking is also not so prevalent there. But before leading to any conclusion, we can understand that this analysis say that several measures like smoking, hand washing activities, stringency measures having seen direct correlation with COVID-19 diseases, but that doesn't necessarily mean these are the only causes of spread of COVID-19 disease. However, significant association can be found between smoking and COVID-19 severity. Among the clouds of stringency and stringency measures, smoking practices, there are several hidden data points, potential data points like economic measures, GDP per capita, poverty rate, which might have some correlation with COVID-19 severity. As we can see in most of the rich countries with high GDP per capita having having population with higher consumer preferences and utility that lead towards unhealthy lifestyle, while countries with low GDP per capita comparatively having low consumer preferences and low utility that seem helpful in aid COVID-19 disease. However, several regions can be a cause of this disease. What we need to develop is a sense of understanding that our health must be our first priority and that come with healthy lifestyle. And we all know that health is wealth. To be developed now, we need to consume our resources sustainably. This is the major lesson we should learn from Africa. And a humble request, please reach out to those who are in need. There are enough resources to fulfill our needs, and only that can sustain the world. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Stay safe.